Today, we ask a question many thought unthinkable. Is this the end of Canada as we know it? Alberta, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Manitoba, four powerhouse provinces now one step from breaking Canada apart. What's pushing them to the brink? And is Ottawa hiding the real reason behind the sudden unrest? In recent weeks, the anger in Western Canada has exploded. Thousands flooded the streets of Calgary, Regina, Winnipeg, and even Vancouver, not to protest tax hikes, not to demand more jobs, but to say one thing loud and clear: we want out. For decades, these provinces felt ignored. But now, they're done talking. On May 15th, a closed-door summit between Danielle Smith, Scott Moe, Wab Kinew, and David Eby ended with a single shocking statement. We will explore all options to protect our people, even if that means leaving Confederation. What triggered this sudden rebellion? It wasn't just ideology. It was money. Last month, a stunning discovery was made public, an economic report revealing that the four Western provinces had sent a combined $189 billion to Ottawa over the past 10 years, with little to show in return. When the public saw the numbers, outrage exploded. Social media lit up. #WexitNo began trending for the first time since 2020. Behind the scenes, something even more dangerous was brewing. Sources close to provincial leaders confirmed that a new pact, unofficial but powerful, is taking shape. The Prairie Independence Compact. Its goal? Economic autonomy, immigration control, and yes, the power to break away if necessary. No leaked memos here. Just bold statements made at a private forum in Red Deer, where one premier reportedly said, "If Ottawa won't let us run our own house, we'll build a new one." Manitoba was long seen as a moderate. But something changed. After the controversial hydro energy deal was rejected by federal regulators, Manitoba's government issued a statement that rocked the capital. "Our patience has limits." And now, polls show 54% of Manitobans support holding a vote on separation if things don't change by year's end. Here's where things get truly shocking. Multiple U.S. governors, including from Montana, North Dakota, and Idaho, have expressed interest in what they're calling a Northwest Economic Partnership. One governor allegedly told local media, "If the West leaves Ottawa, we'll work with them directly." As tensions rise, the Prime Minister has remained largely silent. And when asked directly about the growing separation movement, he said, "We are working with all provinces to ensure national unity." Not exactly reassuring. Some insiders say the Liberal government is already preparing for a constitutional battle. Others believe they're hoping it all just goes away. Beyond politics and pipelines lies something deeper. A cultural divide that's been silently growing for decades. In the West, many believe Ottawa doesn't understand or even care about their way of life. Across Alberta and Saskatchewan, rural schools are pushing back. New local education boards have begun forming, rejecting federal materials, rewriting history books, and teaching students that Confederation is, quote, a failed experiment. Even language is becoming a flashpoint. In Winnipeg, a federal officer reportedly scolded a gas station for not offering French services in a 98% English-speaking region. As political lines harden, business is getting involved. Big corporations are starting to choose sides. 5 major oil and gas firms announce plans to relocate HQs to independent-friendly jurisdictions. And it's not just oil. A tech startup boom in Saskatchewan is being called the Silicon Plains, with investors saying they'll only commit if the region gains autonomous regulatory power. Banks are reportedly running simulations for Western separation scenarios, preparing for a split economy. And that has Ottawa terrified. As talk of separation heats up, a powerful voice is entering the conversation: Indigenous nations. But not in the way politicians expected. In a move no one saw coming, several First Nations across the West have begun exploring sovereignty. They argue that if Western provinces can leave Canada, they too can leave the provinces. Now, Western premiers face a new dilemma. how to pursue independence without triggering a second, even deeper breakup within their borders. This crisis is no longer just Canadian. Foreign governments are watching, and some are already making moves. In a quiet move, at least 3 countries have paused military tech deals, unsure if Canada will even be intact by next year. Meanwhile, foreign media outlets are now running nightly stories on the Canadian fracture. And in Beijing, a senior strategist reportedly called the crisis the West's softest underbelly, finally cracking. And now, it's real. Polls show 61% of Albertans support leaving if Ottawa refuses to grant full economic autonomy. Saskatchewan is preparing its own vote. BC is forming an internal commission. And Manitoba? It just announced review of provincial future under Confederation. As provinces talk separation, a strange and alarming question has surfaced. What happens to Canada's military? Currently, thousands of Canadian Armed Forces personnel are stationed in Western provinces. But if a province declares independence, who gives them orders? Some reserve units are reportedly training under new regional emergency protocols, including drills not cleared by federal command. Canada's military has always stood for unity. But now, it's caught in the middle of a national identity crisis. And some fear the next move could come from the barracks, not the ballot box. While politicians argue and pundits scream, it's Canada's young people who may deliver the final blow. 72% say they would support their province leaving Canada if it meant lower taxes, housing reform, and more local control. On TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, a new generation is openly talking about breaking up the country, like it's normal. They're tired of being priced out of cities, ignored in rural areas, and crushed by student debt. And more than any generation before them, they don't see Canada as permanent, just optional. While Western provinces rage, one part of Canada has been suspiciously quiet: the East. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and Pei all watching in silence. A growing movement in Atlantic Canada is calling for economic separation from both the West and Ottawa, a kind of maritime neutrality. Some Eastern premiers have even held quiet talks with European trade envoys, hinting at a post-Canada era where Atlantic provinces become direct economic players on the world stage. As the West charges toward the exits, the East may quietly slip out the back door. And if that happens, Canada won't just fall apart, it'll vanish without a fight. We are now in a moment of reckoning. For provinces, one confederation, and a decision that could reshape North America forever. Will Canada survive the next year intact? Or are we watching the end of a nation? Whatever happens, we'll be watching. And you should be too.